We are live. Hey, friends. Tammy Anderson Ward from the Energy Healing Conference. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Welcome. This is a big deal for me because I get to introduce a first-time speaker with the Energy Healing Conference, and I'm excited for you to get to know her a little bit better and get to connect with her. Whether you are able to attend the conference with us this weekend, or maybe you're just looking to expand your horizons and you like to meet new people too, like me. And maybe you want to learn some new things and hear other people's stories. This is just awesome. This is Julia Bryer, who's going to be speaking with us tonight, and I'd like to interview her. Please feel free to drop down any questions that you would like to have asked, or things that you've been curious about with her. If you happen to go on her website, freetobefree.com, please feel free to let us know something. It's a little tidbit, something that you see on there that really calls out to you. And I will be doing some giveaways, some drawings here for people who go to her website and then come back to the broadcast, or maybe you have the capability of being on two devices and you'd like to be entered in for a giveaway. All right, Julia is a One Light Healing Touch instructor and practitioner, and she's also a yoga therapist whose goal is to increase compassion and joy in this world. And I love that goal. That's such a beauty. It's such a worthy, inspiring type of goal. She helps her students and clients find this compassion for themselves and open to experiencing a life in alignment with their deep-hearted truths. Julia seamlessly weaves together OLHT energy healing techniques, sound healing mantra, meditation, visualization, breath work, gentle movement, and sacred ceremony. She empowers a shift to an expansive healing and upleveling into a higher vibration and perspective. Julia offers comprehensive energy healing training for light workers to step into their path as practitioners. So if you please welcome to the virtual stage here with me tonight, Julia Bryer. How are you?
Hey, Tammy, I'm doing really well. I'm so excited to be here with you on that Energy Healing Conference stage tonight.
Yes, thank you so much. And tell me, how do you say your last name? I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
Bryer.
Bryer. Okay, perfect. That was awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I just did read a brief introduction, but now I want to hear a little bit, less formal, right? I would love to hear a little bit more about how you got into this work. If you don't mind, I'll pop off the screen for like 5 minutes and then I'll come back on.
Sure. Thanks, Tammy. I'd love to tell the story of how I found energy healing. I was a yoga therapist. I was teaching a bunch of yoga classes a week, but my favorite classes to teach were therapeutic yoga classes. And that's when we use the techniques of yoga, deep relaxation, breath, gentle movement that opens the body to help people with stress, anxiety, depression, and tight muscles, of course. So I would teach these classes, and one of the things that we would do in these therapeutic yoga classes was to touch each student one time, if we had permission, just a human touch, because human touch does help the heart. It lifts the heart. It helps humans feel connected. And when I touched the students in the therapeutic yoga classes, they would say, "Your hands are so hot. Your hands are incredibly hot." But we would have such a deep connection. And I didn't know anything about energy healing, but I knew that I felt this beautiful compassion flow through me to the students. And I knew that I had a lot of energy in my body. My body got really hot and my hands got really hot when I felt that compassion. And I was just doing that very gentle human touch, human connection with the students when they were relaxing. And then later, I went to a psychic, and she was also a pranic healer. And she did the psychic reading for me. And then she said, stand up, stand up. Okay, put your hands out and send energy to me. And so I played along and I used my intention to try to send energy to her. And she said, okay, open your crown chakra. And I understood what chakras were. Open it wider. It's like a funnel. Open it even wider and bring in the golden light. And now send more energy to me. And she said, open it even wider, send even more energy. And I was able to do that. And I never even knew what energy healing was by then. And she said, you are a master energy healer. And so she taught me a few ways of playing with energy. And then I wanted to learn more. And I was working for 25 years in information technology. I was a project manager at a big bank. And my soul was screaming. I was so done with that career. My soul was just screaming at me to get into what I always had dreamed of doing, which was to serve people, lift people up, help people be healthy. And I was just having quite a day at work. I was working from home. And so I gave up and I walked away from my computer and I was looking at Amazon Prime for movies. And I ran into this movie called The Healing Field. And The Healing Field talked all about energy healing, all different types, Qigong, Tai Chi, acupuncture, acupressure, all sorts of different types. And it also talked about the one light healing touch modality. And as soon as I saw the directors of the school, the creators of the modality on the screen, I was mesmerized. And within a few seconds, I knew not only was I going to their school, but that I was going to be an instructor for their school. I listened a little bit more, and then I paused the movie, The Healing Field, and I Googled, I went to their website, and they had their phone number on their website, which I thought was amazing. Picked up the phone and called, and they actually answered the phone. And I said, I want to be in the next school. And it was 3 weeks from then. And I haven't looked back since. That was 7 years ago. And being an energy healer, doing this work for people is so important for me because it allows me to shower unconditional love on the people that I work with and the people who are my students. Whereas in normal life, you really can't pour that much love into people because everybody has their filters and boundaries up. But as an energy healer and a yoga therapist, people come to me and they're totally open to receive compassion, love, radiance. And so it's such an honor for me to work with people.
That was truly beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I love that video too. That I was going to say movie, so I said video.
The Healing Field, right?
I really do love that video, and there are so many others that are like it that are really like reaching the masses and helping teach people what this actually is. And I love that. So,
yes.
What was it that really stood out to you personally at that time? Was there something specific that really just kind of rocked your world?
Mm-hmm. The one light healing touch modality empowers people. There's not a guru. There's not dogma. It's just self-empowerment. It's learning who you truly are, learning what patterns and beliefs are creating your actions and your emotions and your thoughts. It's connecting to divine wisdom, divine love directly without anybody to go through to get there. And the one light healing touch modality embraces and honors and teaches wisdom traditions from all different cultures, from Native American culture, shamanism, from Chinese medicine, from Tibetan Buddhism, from the yogic tradition, which of course I absolutely adore, being a bhakti yogi. And so it's that combination and that openness to all paths. That's why they entitled it One Light, because we're all going towards the same divine light, the same divine love. And in this type of empowerment that we create in ourselves and then share with other people, it raises our level of perspective. We can see the higher picture instead of getting caught in the details. And it helps us to have an enormous amount more compassion for ourselves and then compassion to share with other people.
That's awesome. I really, really, truly love this. My grandmother was a nurse for 40 years. And when she retired, she ended up apprenticing from a gentleman from Germany, and she learned reflexology. And
Okay.
I inherited her book collection. And so she was very much into kinesiology, herbalism, like aromatherapy, so much. And that's like, honestly, as a little girl, when we got sick, she would touch us. So I just like love your story about the
Oh,
healing power of touch, and
yes.
just thinking about how it applies to me also. And for those of you who are watching and who are viewing this, whether you're live or on the replay right now, I want to invite you to consider either someone who had a healing touch for you in your life, or maybe somebody that you're thinking of that like maybe they don't even know it. Because I hear this story that Julia is talking about right now about how she viewed a video, it called out to her, right? And then she learned and she had her own experience with this. So, Julia, thank you so much for being here today. I want to invite you to share a little bit more about some of the modalities that you do teach as an instructor, because I think they may be new to some of the people who are watching today. Would that be okay if we just had you maybe spend just a couple minutes on that?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes. I'd like to start with therapeutic yoga therapy. Yoga therapy takes the techniques of yoga and then helps people to improve what they're trying to improve. So if they have chronic stress, they might be breathing in a very shallow way. So what the yoga technique that we would use to help them is breathing down into the belly. So inhaling deeply and fully all the way down into the belly, allowing it to expand, and then slow exhales. We also would have them breathe into their lower back. That's an interesting challenge, but it gets them out of their head. So expanding the breath into the lower back. And that again is bringing the breath down, because when we're excited or scared or anxious, we're breathing from here up. We're all tight. And so we want to use the yoga technique of deep, full breaths into the lumbar region or into the lower abdomen to increase their capacity to breathe. Another thing we could do for that example is to help them stretch their sides. So physical stretching in yoga therapy, stretching and opening the sides. Because in order to bring the breath down into the lower abdomen or the lower back, we need to have all these muscles loosened up so that when they take a breath, the breath can go there. So those are just some examples of yoga therapy. If somebody is hurting in their heart, you can see that nature, or they're depressed or they feel ashamed. You can see it in their physical body. They roll the shoulders forward and they compress in. So what we might do in a therapeutic yoga class would be to put a bolster behind their back and have them lay down. And then you're opening this part of the body and stretching and reaching with the arms and the hands. The arms and the hands are also an extension of the heart expression. So if someone's crunched over with their emotions or their stress, then we can physically open the body, and the body helps to shift the emotions and shift the mind. The mind can shift the way the body is with stressful thoughts or stressful emotions, and the body can change the way the mind and the emotions feel. So yoga therapy is really wonderful. And it's very intuitive too. So if you're intuitive and you love energy healing, you probably would love yoga therapy as well.
I love all of
Yeah.
this. No, you're totally good. I just wanted to comment and say I love all of this. Like this is super powerful to me because I actually was learning about energy healing for years and years and kept pushing yoga away, which is really interesting. And then my daughter went to Peru for a month last year, and when she came back, she was like, "Mother, you do not know what you have been missing," you know. And then what I found was every time I did yoga, I would cry. And I asked her, I said, "Why do I get emotional when I do yoga?" And she said, "It's the mind and the body are becoming friends again. And if you disassociate or just try to disconnect, whether intentionally or not, life happens sometimes. And if you end up putting your, self on the back burner, then when they're making friends again, then it's like all of the sudden this reconnection, and this, I don't
That's
know,
right.
analogy."
Yeah, it is a good analogy. And we do these same type of things in energy healing, but when we're quieting the mind. So yogic techniques, energy healing techniques help us quiet our mind. And then different things happen. You may connect with your body and feel the stress or the pain in your body, but you also may connect with your emotions. And, when we're thinking and we're busy and we're focused and we're doing things and we're creating things, we're not really allowing ourselves to go inside and to feel our emotions or to feel the stress that our body is indicating to us, right?
Yes.
Our body is so wise and gives us hints all the time as to what is going on. So yeah, people do cry in yoga. People fall asleep in yoga. People laugh in yoga.
Not all like these, like people who are like ripped with like huge biceps, that are like, it's just everyday people can do yoga too, like no matter what kind of fitness level
Certainly.
you're at, it's not, to me, there's just so many different types nowadays. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
This is
we can
beautiful.
do chair yoga.
Yeah. And I was going to tell you, I know that you didn't get to finish everything that you're saying.
Oh.
So I'm grateful that you're going into that right now. I don't want to keep talking over you. So will you please go ahead and keep sharing? Because there is so much more here about the modalities that you teach, and I'd love to hear more.
Thank you. Yes, I'd love to talk about the One Light Healing Touch Energy Healing and Mystery School and the modality itself. It's such a beautiful modality. I mentioned that it honors and brings in and teaches the students wisdom from many cultures. And so we teach like the Vipassana meditation from the yogic tradition, and we teach shamanic journeying from the Native American and Peruvian traditions. So we teach visualization and moving of energy from Chinese traditions, but we focus on the chakra system. So it's the yogic map of the energy system that we focus on. We have this beautiful 6-month course that I'm starting in January in Orem at the Insight Center. It's a wonderful healing center on Center Street in Orem. They have exceptional therapists there, adults and children and family therapy, but they're opening now. I'm working with them and they're working with me, and we have this beautiful partnership to bring in these alternative practices, these complementary and alternative medical practices of breath work, sound work, yoga, meditation, mindfulness, all the practices that the hospitals teach to people who have an enormous amount of stress, right? Or psychologists say, go and work with someone and learn how to meditate, because all of these practices that we teach in the energy healing schools, they're complementary and alternative medicine. They raise the efficacy of Western medicine, which means if someone goes to therapy and they go to yoga, or they go to therapy and they learn to meditate, or they learn to move and breathe, that there's a higher chance that they will recover and get better and achieve the healing that they want to achieve. And also, when people are done with things like therapy, having a community right there in that beautiful space at the Insight Center they can still come in because they have a community of yogis to do yoga with, of people to meditate with, of energy healers who they learned the energy healing practices with. So it's really a beautiful combination. But the 6-month course from the One Light Healing Touch School that I teach, it starts out teaching the basics. We have an incredible 9-point protocol that keeps us in the highest ethics, the highest integrity. For instance, calling in the best and highest good for the person we're working with, connecting to that person and asking permission, spirit to spirit, if we can do the healing for them, and not doing it if we don't get a yes. These we teach ways of clearing and grounding so we can run the highest light, so that our practitioners are always in the highest integrity, always have the best in mind, and are not absorbing their clients or their students' energy. It's really, really important to know how to clear yourself and reground yourself after you do healings or after you lead energy healing group practices. So that's the structure of everything that we do, is based on that protocol. And then we move through the 6 months of the course. We start with heart healing because we've all had our hearts broken. And then we move into a deep, deep cleanse so that we can release our old traumas. So we have space for the new. We have space for the beautiful light to come through us so we can share it with others. And then we move into connecting with the very highest level, brightest, most radiant light, so we can bring that and share that with our clients and our group. It's such a beautiful modality. And then we teach shamanic journeying, and we teach moving into all sorts of beautiful states of awareness and compassion. We teach so many different points of wisdom as we go through the 6 months. And then at the end, people can become practitioners if they want to. And if they don't want to be practitioners, it's such a beautiful structure and a basis of knowledge and experience to stand on, that they can go and use these techniques in other ways. They can be massage therapists and still use the techniques that we've taught. They can be hospice nurses and still use the techniques that we've taught. They can be voice therapists and still use the techniques that we teach. So it's a beautiful, wise, comprehensive, and rich just experience to go through that you can stand on for the rest of your life as you're helping people, even if you don't want to specifically be an energy healing practitioner.
Oh, that was really beautiful. Just the way that you're talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have a couple questions about it. First of all, do you have to be in person to participate in these classes that you're talking about that last 6 months?
In general, no. We do teach this course only on Zoom because people come from all different countries. But this particular course that I'm teaching in Orem, starting in January, yes, you do have to be in person.
Okay, that's really good to know. So let's say that there is somebody that's local. How often are the classes?
It's the first weekend of the month for the first 6 months of the year.
Okay, awesome. That's really good to know. And I went to this website that you've been talking about. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Insae.
Insae, yes.
Insae.
Oh, so, yes. Can I tell you what that means?
Well, I just went. That's what I was going to tell you.
You read it.
Please share. It's beautiful. Go ahead.
Yes, it's the Icelandic word for intuition. So they, what they're offering is so beautiful there.
Yeah, it looks like it.
To go within, to go to the sea within and find your wisdom there. Intuition.
Yeah. That's absolutely beautiful. And so I have 8 children, and my second daughter, her name is Aubrey. And when she was about age 14, she had pictures of Iceland all over her bedroom.
Oh, wow.
And she manifested a trip there. And so her and I and her boyfriend at the time, we traveled to Iceland and we stayed there for, it was like a week. And there's over 10,000 waterfalls on
Mm.
the island of Iceland. And we went about August, and like it really is like they call it the land of fire and ice. And it really is like that energetically, it feels that way. But when I went to this website just now, as you've been talking, I was just like, oh my goodness, this feeling that overcame like in my heart. And I went and looked at the
Oh,
team there of all of the practitioners
yeah.
and the different counselors and therapists that work there. And I can see that there's also events there. So what a great opportunity for the local community there, right there in that area in Orem, Provo, and the surrounding the areas in the county. It's just really beautiful. So I'm excited that you're working with them. And
Yes, it's so fun. They're just absolutely wonderful people.
yeah, I absolutely love that. And we're finding more and more mental health therapists are open-minded to the idea of energy psychology. I've even traveled to Baltimore last not this summer, but the last summer. My husband and I went to Baltimore to an event there. It was an energy psychology conference, and 70% of the people there were mental health therapists.
Wow.
I absolutely love that you are participating and collaborating with people who, you're offering one thing and they're offering one thing, and it's just the perfect complement for each other. I just love it.
Yes, it's very, very important to me that these alternative practices are partnered with Western medicine.
That's awesome.
It it increases all the good.
I
It
agree.
just makes it so much better. Yeah.
I agree. I love that. So I have the next question I have is from what you have found in your research, from what you have learned, tell us a little bit about how science and also medicine acknowledge energy healing. I'd love to hear from your perspective what that looks like, because where you are working at the center with so many
Mhm.
people who obviously have these degrees, these credentials, I'm sure that you have something to say about that. So I would love to hear from you.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'd like to start with medicine. So, medicine does absolutely acknowledge energy medicine. It categorizes it and lists it under the category of what's called CAM. CAM is an acronym for complementary and alternative medicine. And energy medicine is listed there, as well as acupuncture and massage and somatic body work and things like that. So it's acknowledged, it's categorized, and it is acknowledged as being effective. The creator of the One Light Healing Touch modality, his name is Ron Lavin. He's a really beautiful man. And he was part of 5 research studies by the United States National Institute of Health for energy healing. It was back in the 80s when the AIDS epidemic happened, and the Western medicine didn't know what to do with it yet. And they gathered master healers, and they did 5 full research studies on distance healing. So my teacher Ron would get a pamphlet or an envelope in the mail, and it would have the person's picture and their name and the date and time that he would do the healing. And he would do it from a distance. And he was in New York City and they were in California. The clients were in California. And these 5 studies showed improvements in all the secondary diseases that the people who had the AIDS virus were suffering from, and it did elongate their lifespan.
That's absolutely beautiful. I love hearing about distance work. My one of my main Reiki practitioners that I call on for help from time to time. She's in Idaho and I'm in Utah. Yeah, it doesn't matter that there's several hours between us. I can feel it just the same as if she was standing right next to me. So I
Yes.
absolutely love that so much. Um,
Yes.
I have some loved ones who've recently lost people who were near and dear to them who are near and dear to them, I should say. And also people who sometimes struggle with other things around grief. Can you share with, those who are viewing, whether live or on the replay, maybe how some of the things that you do that you incorporate into your practice, how can they help those who've lost loved ones? Can you share a little bit more about that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. One of the things we do in the One Light Healing Touch courses and with our clients is we help them connect to their sensory perception, their extra sensory perception that is not the five senses, the five physical senses. We help them connect to their intuition, and we practice this every day in the One Light Healing Touch 6-month course. But we help our clients do this too. And when we start to stop the spinning of the mind and the stress of the body, we can really get in touch with the feelings within us, our gut feelings, our senses. I don't know if anybody remembers before we had cell phones and the phone would ring and maybe you knew who it was. I always knew that it was my mom, or I always knew that it was my sister on the phone. We have this normal, natural human connection to each other. It's every single person has it. And when people cross over and they leave their physical body, we still have that connection with them. And when you practice opening these intuitive senses, you can still sense your loved ones. Not all the time. It's just like with physical people, they're not around all the time. But it gives people such comfort when they have taken the time to clear themselves and open themselves to that intuition, to that extra perception that we all have. And they really can feel their loved ones who have passed. And so what we teach is pick a time of day, pick a half an hour on a Wednesday night and say, I'm going to make a special room. I'm going to center myself. I'm going to put some flowers on the table. And I'm going to use this half an hour to go into myself, open my heart, open my intuition, and picture my loved one's face, and call their name 3 times. And be open to what I might feel in my body, or what I might sense or just know, maybe just have a knowing of, or what I might actually see in my dream state or my waking dreams. And to have this specific time to connect, to maybe journal and feel what they're trying to tell you, or maybe just feel that love again, that loving connection again, because we have things to do in our day-to-day lives, and they still have things to do on the other side. So they can't be here every second, and we can't be with them every second. But if you plan this beautiful time of connection, it's really helpful. It's really helpful in this deep grief to know that your loved one's love is still with you, and you actually can still communicate in a beautiful way with them. So it's one of my favorite things to help people do. In fact, I just met a really lovely gentleman who was showing me pictures of his recently late father was showing up as light and form in his sister's house. But they didn't know what to do. And it's such a gift to be able to tell people, no, you're not crazy. That's totally normal. Of course, your father has a message for you. Let me help you. Let me help you go inside. Let me help you open up. Plan a time to open to what your father wants to give you. Maybe he just wants to give you a parting gift of his love, or he has a message for you. So it's a really wonderful thing to be able to offer people.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, the next question is that I have for you is, do you find it easy to talk about energy healing with normal people? I love this question. Or just like your everyday woo-woo friends, everyday woo-woo friends. I thought this would be a fun one to add in.
Well, my favorite is really to talk to all my woo-woo friends about it, because we could just talk for hours and hours and have the time of our lives with it. And I also have really learned how to speak to normal people about it. And it's probably because my dad and my two brothers are all electrical engineers. They have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and decade-long careers in electrical engineering. And so when I say energy healing, they think it's absolutely hysterical, because the word energy is very specific for them, right? It's about what they do with electrical engineering and science. But normal people use the word energy to talk about how we're doing, to talk about our state of being. So you could switch out the word energy for state of being. So maybe there's a little 5-year-old little boy. Maybe you have a grandson, Tammy, that runs around and he's just having the time of his life and he's going crazy. And you might say, whoa, you've got some crazy energy today. So we use that word in regular life when we're talking about how we feel. Or maybe you'll ask someone, hi, how are you today? And someone might say, I feel so radiant and joyous. I'm so full of energy. Or they might say, oh, I have very low energy today. So we use the word energy to describe our state of being. And when we talk about healing, we're talking about improving our state of being, whether it's physical, emotional, mental. We're talking about improving our state of being. So energy is improving our state. Energy healing is improving our state of being. And I do corporate speaking on this topic because I was in the corporate world for 25 years and I figured out how these things go together. So I teach these same practices: breath, meditation, mindfulness, and connecting to your deep heart truths to people in the corporate world. And I teach it for productivity, resiliency, and career longevity. Because if you're stressed out, you cannot be focused and productive. If you hold on to all the stress and you don't have any energy healing techniques or movement techniques, breath techniques, visualization to clear yourself from the stress, you lack resiliency and you cannot continue to work at a high level because you're too agitated. So you have to know how to clear yourself. And for longevity, of course, you need to be at ease and resilient, but you also, to have a career of longevity, you have to still be vital and connected to the purpose of your career. So you have to know your heart connection to your career, or you need to change careers, which is what I did.
I love how you are sharing stuff, but then you're also like, and this is what I did. I just absolutely love that. It makes me smile. Because you do what you say you're going to do, and it's very good. So thank you everyone who's watching right now. I just want to give you guys a little bit of extra motivation. If you haven't yet already given us a thumbs up or shared this video, I invite you to do so. But if you really want to get in on some fun stuff, we have an opportunity for you to get in on a contest where we're going to be doing some freebies in just a minute here. All you have to do is go to freetobefree.com and you choose one thing on there that stands out to you and go ahead and put it in the comments. And we're going to be doing some giveaways in about 5 minutes. So I want to invite you guys to go ahead and go to her website and then go ahead and come back here and comment below what really stood out to you. Like, is there something that is really appealing to you? All right, we're going to go ahead and go with another question. Thank you so much, Julia, for hanging out with me tonight. Okay, so it is, what do you tell people who are interested in energy healing, but maybe they just aren't sure about believing something that is a little bit unfamiliar to them? I'd love to hear your response to that one.
Mhm. When I was getting into deeper and deeper yogic practices and yogic wisdom, and when I was learning energy healing, I was certainly learning very new things. And I just made a very direct choice for myself that I wasn't going to believe what anybody said. What I was going to do is have my own personal experience. So all of these things are practices, whether somebody is telling you to shut your eyes, relax your legs, relax your back, relax your neck. These are all experiences that we're having. If somebody is saying, visualize or imagine connecting a grounding cord to the earth, that's an experience that you are creating by visualizing, and you're having that experience. Or if I go and I sing at a kirtan bhajan concert, which is yoga music, I know what the words mean, and I know what it feels like to sing that, and I'm having my experience. So I'm not believing what anybody is saying. What I'm doing is having my own experience. And if the experience uplifts me, if I feel better right then, if I feel better the next day, if I want to continue to do it so I can keep myself at a high rate of vibrancy, like with the One Light Healing Touch tools and practices, then that's something that I bring into myself and I believe in because I have my experience. It's a belief and it's just wisdom that if I do these things, I have a better life. And so that's my advice to people. Just have your own experience.
I love that. That's awesome. Beautiful, beautiful advice. Okay, the next thing is, I'd love to know what your thoughts are about what the word intuition is. What does that mean to you, and what do you teach people about that?
Well, to me, intuition is, as we always say, our gut feeling, or I just had a knowing. I knew that was going to happen. I knew you were going to call. It's that connection that I talked about. We all have it. We all have intuition. And Dr. Carolyn Mace, who is an incredible spiritual teacher, she talks about the
Is one of the
empowerment of
ways.
intuition.
Keep
And
on,
Dr.
you're
Carolyn,
good.
oh, okay. Dr. Carolyn Mace talks about the power of intuition for self-esteem. This is a really interesting concept. So she talks about somebody who is fully esteemed in their self is someone who uses not only the discernment of their mind, so the intelligence and discernment of the mind, the information that's brought in through the five senses, the five physical senses, and integrates it equally with the intuition. This is our emotional perception, the intuition, our deep heart knowing, our truth in our gut. It's integrated. So the intuition integrated equally with the information we're getting from the five senses and the discernment of the mind. And she says that is a fully empowered person, a fully esteemed person.
That's beautiful. I appreciate that so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time, talents, your heart today with us. I am really looking forward to meeting you in person this coming weekend in Provo. And want to do a shout out to Beck Bitchard Kidd, who is the first person to go ahead and win a giveaway that we have. We will go ahead and award that to you. All you have to do is come to the registration table. I'm pretty sure you're registered, if I remember right, for the Provo conference this weekend. Yeah, she says, absolutely, I'll be there. Her mom's coming too, and she invited another friend to come. So that's really good. So just come to the registration table. I will have a little gift bag ready for you, and it'll have your name on it. So thanks for playing along today. And thanks to all of you who have viewed live or on the replay. I want to inspire you and invite you to be able to go and learn more about Julia Bryer and everything that she's got. This website that's across the screen right now, Insaye Center. I love that means intuition in Islamic. That's just beautiful. And also the other website that I would love to inspire you to go and look at is freetobefree.com. And it's so honored to have you here tonight. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you there.
Tammy, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to speak with you.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks, hun. Take care. You guys, she's awesome. I'm like super excited. Her class is going to be at 5:00. It's in this beautiful room, gorgeous chandeliers, by the way, but the room is in amphitheater style seating. So you can get really comfortable. You have your own space. There's even a table in front of each person. So I invite you to come and view and learn and participate. The thing about these classes is that our teachers, our instructors, our experts have been instructed to really do a interactive experience. So there's going to be a few lecture style, but the majority of them are things where you can actually have your own experience, kind of like what Julia was talking about. And the entire day is just full of so much love. There are about 50 vendors total. There are about, I don't know, like 30 classes to choose from throughout the day. We start at 8 a.m., which means you can come a little bit early, between 7:45 a.m., and you can go all the way until 7 p.m. if you'd like. You can come and go as you want. You know, nobody's going to be standing at the door or anything like that. We will have a really beautiful opportunity for everyone at the conference. You'll automatically get a lanyard at the registration table. For those of you who are not pre-registered, I want to invite you to please go to our website, which is just right here across the screen, energyhealingconference.com, and then /Provo 24, because it's the 2024, right? And if you go there, then you can learn more about some of the activities and the classes and whatnot. There is so much, really so much to be able to see, participate in. There are services that you can go and sign up for in the vendor hall. There's also different cool products that you can try out and learn about as well. One of the things I want to encourage you to for sure go check out in the vendor hall is the Lumaceutical Light Therapy. They are doing complimentary light therapy sessions for all of our attendees. You just have to make sure that you sign up on the list, and they do have a limited number, so you'll want to make sure you go sign up early. And then also we have a vendor named Taylor Cooper, who has a beautiful blend of sacred cacao. And seriously, it is so yummy, and it is such a heart well, I think it's a gift to your heart, actually. So if you go sign up for those two things early on, and then any other products or services that you're interested in, there it really is just such a treat. It's a beautiful self-care day, a beautiful day of learning and connection. There's just so much. So I encourage you to especially do this if you're in this area, because you guys, we have not been back to this area since 2019. As of right now, we have hundreds of people registered, but we do have room for more. So if you would like a ticket, I'm going to go ahead and put my email up here across the screen. All you have to do is send me a quick email, and I'd be happy to give you a free set of tickets, for one for you and one for a guest. And we'd be happy to do that as a gift from our sponsors, because we do have some sponsored tickets that are still available. If you have any questions, you're also welcome to go ahead and email me directly here at Tammy@hopehavenevents.com. But I will be there. I will be offering many free foot zones. So for those of you who would like some love on your feet, come over to me. We'll be doing those for a few hours in the morning. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys there. And till next time, thanks everyone. Have a good night.